Good morning, boys and girls. This week we're working on labeling and adding sentences to our how-to book about pumpkins. We did page 1. We labeled pumpkin and the insides and wrote our sentence, "First I clean," because the first step is to clean the pumpkin. Then we did page 2. We labeled our pumpkin and our stencil. We also used something we haven't used before, which is an arrow, to make sure that we are labeling the stencil and not the pumpkin a second time. And we added our sentence, "Next, I stencil." Today, we are going to start page 3. So make sure you have page 3, a pencil, and your personal word wall. Let's do this. Here is the first page of our pumpkin carving how-to book. Our picture shows me cleaning the pumpkin. Here's the pumpkin and here's the insides. So we labeled pumpkin with a P, pumpkin, and the insides with an I, insides. Our sentence says, "First, I clean." Our next page shows our pumpkin with the stencil in it. We labeled the pumpkin P, pumpkin, and we labeled our stencil with an S, stencil. We also drew an arrow to the stencil to show that we are labeling the stencil with an S, not the pumpkin with an S. Our sentence for step 2 is, "Next, I stencil." Now we're moving on to page 3. What does our third step show? Yes, I'm carving the pumpkin, right? So, what in my picture is important when I'm carving the pumpkin? Yeah, the pumpkin. So we need to label the pumpkin again. Pumpkin, pumpkin. We're going to label the pumpkin with the letter P, pumpkin. What did we use to carve the pumpkin? A knife. So we're going to label the knife. Knife. Do you know what letter that is? It's N, like net. N. So we labeled the pumpkin and we labeled the knife. Those are the 2 things we needed in order to carve our pumpkin. So now we're going to go down to our sentence. We're going to use our personal word wall. The sequence we use first, the sequence word, is first. This isn't our first step, so we're not going to use the word first. Another sequence word on here is last. This is not our last step, so we're not going to use the word last. The other 2 sequence words on our word wall are next and then. We already used the word next on page 2, so why don't we use the word then this time? THEN. So that's what we're going to write right here. First word on our line for page 3 is then. We're going to make sure the T is capitalized because the first letter of our sentence should always be capitalized. So THEN. Then I, finger space, the word I. So it's a uppercase I. Then I, and what did I do? I carved, right? Then I carve. So say carve. Very good. Let's hear the sounds in the word carve. 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 Let's start with the first. What letter makes K? Yes, there's 2. I'm going to put the word or the letter C for the word carve. K. So we said K, R. Why don't I put the letter R? So we have K, R, V. Do you know the letter that makes V? like volcano or vulture. Yeah. V, carve. What comes at the end of a sentence? Yeah, our punctuation. And for this, a period. It's like a dot on the line. Then I carve. It's nice and neat. There are finger spaces. And it makes sense. All right, this is page 3. For homework, I want you to complete your page 3 on carving a pumpkin. Make sure you do your labels and write your sentence. Remember, those first 2 words are in your personal word wall. Then I, so you should have both of those words in your sentence spelled correctly. All right? Try your best to sound out the word carve. If you can only hear one sound, that's okay. Just put a letter down for that sound you hear. All right? Once you're all done, take a picture of it and post it on Seesaw. You can click the link here and it'll take you straight to Seesaw. I can't wait to see your work. Have a good day.